In this video, I'm going to do a brief overview of the WestEnd Drupal 7 responsive themes, blocks, and regions. And towards the end of the video, I'm going to show you how to add additional regions into the actual system template. But first, let's go take a look through some of the site. Now just notice, some of these sections in here are configurable blocks. Now of course, blocks belong in regions, and we have the ability to edit these blocks however we wish. In this particular case, we basically set up some bootstrap elements that allow the menu to kind of work cahoots with the social icons. As I make my way down, you can see more blocks. Now, of course, a majority of the content in here are blocks. Now this isn't, because this is an actual node being published to the home page, and we're hiding the actual title. This is a block region. These are different block regions, as you can see by seeing the gearbox show up on the top right corner of each individual region. And of course, we have multiple blocks in a particular region. So let's go take a look at what that looks like in a plain view. So I'm going to go to Structure, Blocks, and from here I'm going to go to Demonstrate Block Regions. Now this is going to give you an idea of all the elements that are part of the website that you don't necessarily see in the demo. We have many regions available for you to place content in throughout the entire layout of the site. So as you can see, we have some things up to the top left. You can't read it, but it says Call Us. We also have social icons up here. Now we left these in here just so you can make use of them if you need to. Obviously what we ended up doing was we put the Call Us information here, and we put the social icons in the menu nav right. Now this works in cahoots with the menu nav. Of course, you can always remove this region if you want to extend that menu 100% width across the site. Now, that would take a little bit of development skills, however, it is possible. And of course, we have some sections in here that are wrapped in the container, such as the call to action, and some that are 100%, such as the banner and the page headers. Now, it's important to understand that when you have regions and blocks, that when you place blocks inside of regions, those regions are going to actually show. If there's no content in there, they're going to hide themselves. That way you don't get any of the mess or the noise, such as the background colors or images or patterns or textures that belong as a part of the site. So as I make my way down, you can see that you have several options to place additional content in. We only covered probably half of the blocks and half of the regions on the site for the actual theme. So you don't have a shortage of places to put information. So one of the things I want to point out is that in the block list, we've actually titled the blocks pretty much the same name as the regions that we've created. Now this isn't true for every single block. So I'm going to exit out of the block region, and we're going to come into the list here. As I make my way down to the bottom, I'll show you some examples. So we have content bottom top, and then we have our block called content bottom top, bottom first, bottom second, bottom third, and so on. Now we did this to help you understand what blocks belong in what particular regions. Of course, you can always change those names if you want to. This is just how we did it to make it easily manageable on your end. So let's say that we don't have enough regions in here. Well, it's very simple to place content inside of these regions. And it's very simple to add if you have some form of development knowledge. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and open up Dreamweaver and show you some of these files. Now the westend.info file is where we control what regions show up here. So what I'd like to do is I'd actually like to place an entire block across the top of the site. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to copy that, bring it down one, and we're going to call this demo header. And I need to give this a machine name. I'm just going to say demo header. I'm going to keep it all one word. So that doesn't just do it. What that does is that adds it to the system, but it doesn't actually show up on the site. So what we need to do is we need to go into templates, page.tpl, because this is the file that controls every single element that's a part of the website. And from here is where we can actually begin that process. Now we could come in here and grab a particular region that's just one. For example, I'm going to grab the header, page header in here as an example. I can copy the page header, come to the top, paste it, and all I need to do is change this name here. So we can call this demo header. Of course, I need to change this down here as well. We'll call this demo header. So now we've actually added a new region to the actual theme template. What that means is if I come into the site and I flush caches, well, first we'll go into the demonstrate block regions. If I come in here and hit flush caches, we should see a new region show up at the very top. Now that I've flushed the caches, we can actually see the yellow top header up here, this demo header. Now you can't read it fully, however it is there. And what that means we can do now is we could essentially come in here and add a new block to this particular setup. So let's go ahead and try that. I'm going to call this demo block. I'm going to come in here, I'm going to wrap this in a container. And I'm going to place some text in here so we can see some content. And then I'm going to close that container. So now if I come down to the bottom and choose the region I want, I can put this in demo header. Now, if I save this, this piece of content that I just created is going to show up on every single page across the website. If I go to the home page, we can see the site just and show that content. As you can see, going to place some text in here and some content. So that's how we effectively add content into this particular section. Now the reason why that isn't showing up inside of the container is probably because I didn't choose full HTML. So it's important if you're going to put HTML inside of these block regions to make sure that you select that type of filter. Now if I choose filter, come down to the bottom, hit save, we should see that not necessarily center up, but belong in the actual container that we want it to. And you'll see it adjust here. There it is. Alright, what that means is you can put notifications across the website, and you saw that it's extremely easy. Now, of course, it's even easier to remove, because all you have to do is just grab it in here, delete, come back into the .info file, delete that, block regions, and what I'm going to do, you can kind of see it's already taken place here. However, I'm going to flush cache anyway, and now that region is no longer available on the website. So what you just saw was an easy way for you to put your own formatting into this theme. It's very easy. You don't have to be a wizard in order to put some simple formatting and follow basic steps to create additional regions that are a part of this theme. Everything is configurable and everything is based on Bootstrap.